So let's look at a cell a little more closely. So first of all, here at the top, we have a zoomed in picture of our cell membrane, which we've already gone over. We said that it's composed of a phospholipid bilayer with proteins and cholesterol embedded in it. So this is our zoomed in picture of our cell membrane. And then within our cell are a lot of organelles, and these organelles each perform specific functions. Most organelles within the cell are membrane bound, meaning there's a membrane on the outside of the organelle, making up the outside of the organelle. Not all of them, but a lot. And when there is a membrane, that membrane is very similar to the membrane that makes up the cell membrane itself. So for instance, the nucleus is in the center of the cell. It takes up a lot of the cell, and it contains the genetic material of the cell in the form of deoxyribonucleic acid, or as you probably know it, DNA. And so the nucleus itself has a membrane, and so within the nucleus is that DNA. So DNA, what specifically does is it contains instructions for making proteins. And those proteins then actually go on to run everything in the cell, and they're sort of in charge. So the DNA has the instructions for making protein. If we look at some of these other organelles, we can look at ribosomes. Ribosomes are actually an exception to the membrane, having a membrane. But ribosomes help to assemble those proteins that we talked about, okay? That the DNA contains instructions for making proteins, and it's ribosomes that help to assemble them. The endoplasmic reticulum is made of membrane, so it's these long, flat, membranous structures. And the proteins that are assembled by the ribosomes go into the endoplasmic reticulum. They get further processed, and they get ready for transport all throughout the cell. The endoplasmic reticulum is also responsible for the breakdown of lipids and the storing of some minerals such as calcium. Okay, and then if we look over here, we've got another membrane-bound structure called the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is often considered the powerhouse of the cell. What it does is it uses molecules that come into the body, and it uses them to make something called ATP. And ATP you can think of as the energy currency of the cell. So it's a way for the cell to hold on to energy so that it can be used later in time. Okay, so there are many other organelles within cells, but we're just going over a few of them for this class, and a few that are important, especially important in energy transfer within the body. Okay, that's it.